Hey everyone, you're listening to the Robot Podcast. We're back with the third episode here. We have a new guest. We have Slavbot. Hey Slavbot, how's it going?
Hey there, it's going all right. What about
It's
you?
good, it's good. So,
Mm-hmm.
Slavbot, is there anything else we can call you, or do you want us to just call you Slavbot here?
Ah, for now, it's Slavbot. It's okay.
Alright, Slavbot it is. And where are you from, Slavbot? I can probably take a guess, but just for everyone listening.
Um, what do you think?
Hmm, not sure. I'm gonna guess Ukraine or somewhere abouts there?
Bah, wrong.
Where at then?
From Yugoslavia area. Do I have to tell you my real location, or can I
No,
just
no, just the general location's okay.
Yugoslavia? Let's say region, Yugoslavia region.
Yugoslavia region. Alright, and how old are you, Slavbot?
Yeah, 28.
28, alright. And what do you do for a living?
Currently nothing. I'm meeting with my parents, but I have planned to go to work in USA. Till then, I was working in Deutschland as machinist, CNC programmer, and yeah, that's about it.
And how long ago was that you were working with that? How
Huh?
long ago were you working with that?
Working
How
what?
long ago were you working in that field?
It was, I don't know, 5 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Then I quit the job, came here because I had some plans to go work in glorious USNA.
Oh, and how is that working out? What is your progress on that?
I should be going there soon. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it will work out. It should be soon, maybe in 3, 4 months.
All right, all right. And do you have any friends? Do you have any friends?
No, not that. Like, friend for me is somebody that you really have trust in, that you can depend
Mm-hmm.
on. I have acquaintances, if you know what I mean. Just people that I sometimes kill my time, boredom with, but I don't have
Not like
friends.
a real friend. All right. And
Uh,
any romantic success?
Romantic? No, I just have hookups here and there when I succeed with some Tinder or online thing,
Hmm.
but it's not that often.
Ah, okay. So just a couple of those every now and then, but not like anything serious.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not a real robot.
Hmm.
I'm a cyborg maybe.
So then you're single now? What's your height and weight?
Um, I'm 5'7", and wait, I need to convert my weight. I don't know, it's about 155 or something
All right. And
pounds.
what drove you to start posting on R9K? What made you feel comfortable with that community?
Uh, I really cannot remember, but I remember once I discovered 4chan. It was B. I enjoyed it for time, and then it kind of got bored with random things, and I went to politics. Then I was there getting red pilled and getting rage over everything. And I guess I was in a relationship long time and I got screwed over. So I got fucking raging on women, and I discovered woman hatreds and red pilling on women. Like everybody was complaining, same shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of drew me that, and I was getting engaged in that, and then I went to another relationship. I went to a few more, and then I realized everything rings true. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I didn't. It kind of rang true everything that they were saying, but I couldn't believe it. I couldn't brought myself to act on it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't fall for the red flags, but I still did, and I seen, and then and that's how it went. I know it's kind of funny and sad, and you can correlate with their existence because I know I was in that situation before. I don't feel so desperate anymore as some people, but one point in life I was. So it's kind of now just like a comedy, cynical, ironic thing to go there. But I still understand there are some miserable people. So I don't know. I kind of like their company because they're straightforward people.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting to hear about. Tell me, what is one thing that you want to say to the normies?
Normies, well, you're getting exposed. You're with power of internet. We are exposing your hypocrisy, your bullshit, your acting. You have nowhere to hide, and we'll get you. We'll expose every shit. You're getting bombarded from all sides, and I think things will change. Yeah.
Now, what things are you referring to that you think might change?
Well, the perception of people intentions and honesty and how they behave. For example, normies, we all know about tricks and things they use to manipulate other people, but in the core, we know they are insincere. Like, for example, oh, you gotta be yourself, help others. You'll get, when they wish you luck, but they don't really mean it, and they give you false advice just to fuck you over. Like, oh, bro, you just have to do this. You just got try to do this, or they just try to draw you back into their misery or backstab you. For example, I got many times backstabbed by
Mhm.
normies on the job because I trusted them too much. They they seem nice, they seem cool, but yeah,
They really ended up turning
they're
on you.
mostly, yeah. For example, I got sometimes I got to relax around some guys on the work that were normies, and I said too much, and they told everyone, got to the boss ears, and I got in a lot of shit because of that. And I really thought, oh, this is a cool guy. Look at him. He understands everything. I can trust him. You know,
Right.
got carried away.
That's unfortunate. I think you're not the only one that's had that kind of experience too. That happens to a lot of people.
Uh, to you too, also. Huh?
Well, I don't know. I'm not at liberty to say. So let's talk about the next couple of years. Where do you think the next couple of years are going for you? Do you have any plans or goals that you want to do? I know you talked about coming to the U.S. to work, but anything else besides that, maybe?
Well, I just want to save a shit ton of money and buy some property or something, or invest somewhere, so I could just live my life on, just easy life, to not have to wage slave constantly, or think from month to month where will I be or what will I do. So I just want to kind of secure my existence.
Right, right. And is there, I mean, I know that you want to work here and all that, but is there any sort of plan you have for getting such a large amount of money? Do you maybe want to earn a lot and then move to somewhere that has a lower cost of living? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the place where I am now is housings, houses and stuff are pretty cheap. So I think, like, with few years of working in America, I could save up, buy one, two properties, one I could rent and live off that, or find part-time job, and it could kind of fill the spaces so I don't have to wage slave from 7 to 5, 7 to 3, or whatever.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a good plan to me. Uh,
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. That's the plan, but who knows? Maybe it will change.
yeah, you never know. Have you had any experience with New Balance tennis shoes? Do you know what those are?
Oh yeah, yeah, I did. I had the
Do you have any thoughts on those, or do you own a pair yourself, perhaps?
no,
No?
just the running shoes.
Fun.
I know some people are making fun of them, but I don't know where this come from.
Mm, they're a good shoe. I just have to say, I really agree with that.
I don't see any flaw with them. Just regular shoes. Don't look much different from other running shoes.
I agree. What do you think is gonna
Yeah.
be, since we're in 2018 now, what is gonna be the event that's gonna surprise people in 2018, you think? What's coming
I
to
don't
us?
know. I think there are a lot of things that are going to happen. I cannot even pinpoint exactly what's going to be like pinnacle. Maybe Korea, war with North Korea, uh, maybe European Union collapsing, maybe what else? I don't know. There are a lot of things that could happen that are like on the edge now.
Hmm.
So maybe Trump election, who knows? Maybe some big riots.
Yeah, potentially all that stuff could happen, I guess. It's a new year, you never know.
Yeah.
Um, this might be going back to like school or anything like that, but just in general, do you have any stories of that kid? You know, that kid that did all those things?
What am I exactly? I know what, like just some just to mention some kid that did weird shit or
Yeah,
what?
sort of like that. Who was that kid at your school? Who did that weird thing? Tell me about that.
Hmm. I don't know. Hmm. Nothing extraordinary, I would say. There were some couple of pretty retarded that couldn't just couldn't find themselves. Like they were like weird, just alone, saying nothing, or I don't know, nothing extraordinary that I remember.
Hmm.
And school was so far away, so I don't really remember school anymore. Actually, I was sometimes very weird kid. I was autistic. I didn't know how to react properly to some things.
So you were perhaps maybe you were that kid even, who knows?
Yeah. I remember when I shitted my pants during class, and everyone was turning around to see who shit, and they couldn't find it, and it was me.
Hmm. How long ago was
Yeah.
that?
And that was like I had a shit in my pants for two school hours, and nobody noticed it. And I know everybody was complaining, but
Oh, wow.
oh, that was I don't know. That was like a long time ago, like third, fourth grade.
Uh,
And you know, I was peeing in the bed. I was maybe 12 years old. I was peeing a bit late.
Oh, wow, really? All right.
Yeah,
And well, I'm glad you grew out of that and you're better now, but yeah, that's no good.
yeah.
Tell me, what is the ultimate robot dinner date? Where do you think a robot wants to go out to dinner for? What's a good date?
What? How you mean? What is good dinner date?
What is a good night out for a robot? A robot meets someone, they want to take them out, they want to go on a dinner date. What do they do?
What would be ideal thing,
Right,
right?
yeah, where would they go?
I don't know. For robots, somewhere quiet where there are people not observing, so he could maybe relax themselves,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe go in some park or where could they
Or
go?
perhaps even just
I
yourself,
found
not even necessarily a robot, yourself. Tell me about yourself. Where would you go on a good ideal dinner date?
I would I also I like to go where people parks or just sit on some bench and observe people from far away or uh, maybe ride a bicycle. Uh, I don't like theaters or stuff that deconcentrate. I like to be concentrated on the person and that the person is concentrated on me.
Hmm.
Or sometimes it's best to just hang around in your room, like drinking, watching movie,
Mm-hmm.
Netflix and chill, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, that's kind of okay. I'm the guy that likes the best. I just want to get in the pants as quickly as possible. If it's not nothing romantic.
You're pretty good at that. You've had a lot of experience with that, or?
Well, usually it went like that. Like I meet chick from internet and then we talk or something. They something right away, and then I call her over. She watches a movie with me, and and then all the rest happens.
Hmm.
If she doesn't put up, then I just kick her out, and I don't want to waste time or money.
do you have any exceptional stories relating to that? Anything you could tell us that went wrong with that, or something interesting?
Mm, with those hookup,
Yeah, yeah,
huh?
yeah. Something along the lines of that.
Nothing special. Maybe some girls were like uppity. They didn't want to put up. They didn't want. They were sending mixed messages, and I just got and say goodbye and never turned back. There were one girl. There was she wanted to. I was like I didn't. I was better to make the first move. It was like my learning curve still.
Right.
She was constantly like, oh, little bit wants to talk, little bit wants to meet, and then she rejects me and this. And I know I spend a lot of time on her too much, like wanting to get. I had the chance, but I went to my beta ways again, and I thought, oh, maybe this could be a good relationship without. Well, this is a whore. She's giving me to lick her boobs. So, well, and I screwed a few times with that, and just wasted my money and time for nothing.
So you think she was kind of a waste of time and you didn't really go anywhere or get anything out of that relationship?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a few chances to do it, but because I thought, oh, maybe I don't want to be a relationship, started thinking like beta as before, and then once you do this, girl don't want you anymore. The robots must learn this. If you try something with girl, and she gives you signal, and if you don't do it, she'll most likely won't do it with you again. That's the rule almost.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Um, so you're sort of living as a neat. What are your thoughts on neat bucks? Do you think anything needs to change in regards to that, or do you think that the system that you guys have over there currently works well, or
No, we don't have need bugs. This is the thing here. if if I had the chance in America, I'd exploit the system to the maximum. If system is in place, you should exploit it. Why not? Why should you pay too much taxes and then not get anything in return? And or if you're not going to use it, some other bastard is going to take advantage of these systems. So, but here we don't have such systems. So you're actually forced to kind of survive or work or go or live with parents.
so you have no sort of failsafe for that, and you
Nah,
think that
nah, nah.
it should be exploited if possible for people instead of
Yes, because if you don't exploit it, other people that are more ruthless, and why shouldn't you? So, in my opinion, that's the logical thing to do, apart from morality.
Is there any
You
way
gotta
you
have
think
to
to
do.
change it so it's not as detrimental, or
How you mean changes
well,
in
change the
detrimental in
system
what
so
way?
that it's not so easily exploitable, and or do you think that the way it's designed
Well,
now, there's not really a whole lot you can do with that?
well, I'm not sure. I think there should not be any welfare system. That it should be voluntary. I'm a believer in a free market and that people should help themselves or each other. For example, if others, people should organize and make charity or whatever. Because if you just give the money to somebody, you're encouraging bad behavior, and people can fake their mental illness or whatever. Even if they don't fake it, there should be charity and people dedicated to do this. If I would to want to donate to somebody mentally disturbed, I would rather give my money to charity and let that charity give to these people. But creating welfare system just makes problem people. It creates the cycle. It creates single mothers, robots, and all over again.
Hmm.
It never stops.
I totally understand that. Um, Tell me, what do you think is worse, acne or dandruff, and why?
Which two?
Acne or dandruff?
Dandruff.
Yeah. It's it's
What's
like when
that?
you have
Sorry,
skin coming out of
didn't
your
get you.
hair. It's like dried skin coming off of your scalp?
And what is that first thing?
Acne is like pimples on your face, or yeah, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think dandruff. Acne are
You
worse.
think acne is worse?
Acne stay longer. It's hard to get rid of, and dandruff you can get rid of if you watch out how you wash hair and whatnot. Usually, dandruff becomes when you wash in too hot water, and then your skin dries up and starts to fall out. People don't know that it's caused by hot water, not by bad skin or something.
And so, have you had troubles with both or either of those, or
Yeah, I had bad, and with the skin, I got allergies because I always showered in boiling hot water, but then I discovered the secret of cold water, and I never went back. Once you go cold water, you don't go
so
back.
you're exclusively on cold water from now on, huh?
Not ice cold, but mild.
A lot colder than it used to be.
Yeah. Now I wash in the mild water, and then on the end I blast the cold water.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you have long hair, short hair? What kind of hair are we talking about?
Short,
Short
short.
hair. Facial hair?
I have short hair.
Do you have facial hair too?
What?
Like mustache, beard, that kind of thing?
No. I'm baby faced.
Oh,
I don't even grow a beard.
oh, okay.
Only mustaches bit.
All right. Well, it's good that you've told us that advice. Some people might be able to learn from that to maybe try out the cold showers. They're not as bad as they sound. Um,
Yeah.
do you think that there's going to be a World War III in the next couple of years? Do you think that's a very real possibility?
Mm, there is possibility, but I don't think it's very likely because today every country, many countries have nuclear weapons, and if shit starts hitting the fan, then we are all going to get screwed. And even in the brutal leaders, it's not interest to start the World War III because nobody will survive. Maybe there will be some major wars, like bigger wars, but nothing on the scale of world wars, like few countries getting involved, or maybe if someone provokes it, like Iran or North Korea, or somebody starts throwing nukes like idiot, then probably it can happen. But I don't think it's very likely.
Hmm. If there is a World War III started, who do you think is going to be the one to start that problem?
Well, maybe these regimes, or China, or not so much even China, Korea, or yeah, some of these Mongols.
You think they're going to be the ones behind it? All right. Um, so I've been sort of asking the topics and the questions at this point. Let me ask you, what is there any topic that you want to talk about yourself, or a story that you want to tell,
Hmm.
maybe?
Well, usually when I like to talk, I like to also question the other person to get to know each other. But I don't know, I like everything from economics, politics,
Well, just something you're passionate about
biology.
or interested in, maybe.
Huh. I'm passionate about development,
Okay,
science,
well, tell me some stuff about
and
science that you're interested in lately.
I like technology. I like, for example, my dream, if it ever comes true, I would like to work on artificial intelligence because I think robots are the future, and everything will revolve around them. So I think that's in we cannot escape this future. We need artificial robots will come, and maybe artificial wombs, and this will be the game changer, I think.
And so you think you'd like to be a part of that and maybe help develop some of those when that's a possibility?
Yeah, sure. I'm very interested what could come out of it because it's whole uncharted territory. Like, what could happen if we develop artificial intelligence that can ration better than us or more efficient? It's a very surreal thing to do. Like, what would happen with robots? if we could get to this level.
Do you think we're bound to see some kind of Terminator style thing, or
Not so. No, I don't think so.
so what do you think? Give me like a peek into 10 years from now. Where do you think we're gonna be at with robots?
Well, 10 years is nothing. Maybe in 100 years, we may see robots casually walking with us on the street. Maybe, I mean, this is just they wouldn't be walking for a reason. But like you have your pet robot, like he's flying over your head or hovering or doing something, helping you, or you have some, I don't know, general purpose robot or whatever.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like in World of Warcraft, you have a pet and you tell him, "Hey, get me this, do this," and
So you think that we'll have that sort of thing, but it'll be robots helping us out on a general basis?
yeah, probably.
All right, that's pretty interesting.
I wish robots replace women with artificial bombs. This is my big dream.
You're looking for them to be phased out and just have robots sort of breeding us?
Yeah. But I'm not trying to be edgy. I'm just looking in terms. It's more women are necessary evil. We need them for their wombs, and they are not much useful for anything else. So it would be a logical step to make something efficient. Okay, robots use less energy. They don't have to pamper to them. They don't go into strange phases of bitching and whatever emotional imbalances, and they just raise your kid, yeah, and perpetuate the species.
All right. Well, that's what you heard from Slavbot here. Is there anything, we're kind of wrapping up the end here. What do you want to say to fellow users of 4chan or R9K, the board itself? Is there anything you want to say to them?
Well, I would like to say to people to not feed into the bait threads, not to stop perpetuating and answering and saying as much homosexual, transsexual, and other dumb, retarded threats, big black cock, and whatever. Just please stop with that. Like, you're ruining the board. We need the really good quality content. And girlfriend threats and Finbots threat and whatever that is, like, dumb. Like diaper thread. These people are really mentally retarded. I don't know why they do it, but yeah.
And so I've sort of seen that's been kind of a trend in the last couple of people I've talked to, that
I,
those threads are ruining the
I
board.
think, sorry for interrupting, but I think these are maybe people that are pushing so hard, like they are so mentally deranged.
Mhm.
They have so much time to make every 5 minutes same thread and constantly post it and circle jerk and push their crap. Like, those are people, those are few people. I don't believe that those are majority.
So you think it's just a couple of really troubled people that can't be saved, maybe even you can't change their mind, and
Yeah, because I know from my experience, I had autistic phase when I got red pilled on a woman, and I started to post woman hate thread every day straight for 2 months, and yeah, that was my autistic phase, and I I know probably many saw that like, whoa, this is regular.
so you were hitting a point where you were posting those kind of threads all the time. But you said that do you like those threads in general, or the
Yeah,
women
I
hate
like when they
threads? The
are.
women.
I like when they are creative and when the people put time and effort to come up with good arguments, even if they are trolling. You can practice arguments. Like, somebody says something, I intentionally form the argument or question so dumb that requires people to think. So it's kind of engaging. Also, it doesn't have to be logical. Doesn't have to be everything. So, military style,
All right, so you could just sort of work on
but provocative and
your arguments in
what?
general, right? Like to form.
Yeah. Like, somebody can play devil's advocate, and you can practice argument with others, how to spot the logical fallacy or something, and it contributes to the thread and in general to the site.
Give me an example of a good thread really quick. I just want to ask because you're saying there's a lot of good content, and others have said that a lot of good content gets buried under those trolling threads. So is there any sort of regular thread that you've seen that really represents the
Hmm.
board and you're interested in reading and seeing more of maybe?
Huh. I like generally, uh, they're not specific, but generally I like to engage in woman hatreds and sometimes commenting on some event. For example, this cop shooting that was recently, this cop that was screaming at this other guy to crawl, whatever. This was kind of engaging. It's random thread. It's with the current time, and then people start debating: was it good or bad? What he did or not? And it's always interesting because there are people on both sides, some baiting, some genuinely saying things. So I like these kind of threads. Sometimes in what's going on in the town. For example, Trump does something and everybody starts talking about it, or yeah, nothing specifically.
All right, well, you heard it from Slavbot, everyone. Try and keep down those trolling threads as you've heard here from before, and maybe start talking about current events because they're the most engaging ones, and you can get good practice with debating and seeing both sides of the issue. Thanks for coming on, Slavbot.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you
I'm
also.
going to be taking a
Yeah.
short break here, and we'll have another guest on, so thanks for coming on. Hey, how's it going, everyone? You're listening to the Robot Podcast. We're back with the second part of the third episode here. We've got Hal. Hal's our second guest. How's it going, Hal?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
It's good to hear. And where are you from, Hal? Tell us about you.
I'm from Florida.
How old are you, Hal?
I'm 19.
19. Okay. What do you do?
I work with my dad. We're general contractors, so basically we're just uh, general Mexicans for hire. Do a lot of carpentry and plumbing and shit like that, electrical shit.
Just a
But
lot of
mainly it's
random
just,
odd jobs like that?
yeah, mainly it's just boring shit.
Okay. Have you ever had any strange requests on those odd jobs there?
Not really.
Nothing out of the ordinary or special. Okay. And
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Hal, do you have any friends?
Uh, I have a few online friends, but
Nothing in
that's about
person
it.
though.
No, not for a while.
And what about romantic success? Anything in that area?
uh, I mean, I'm sure once or twice girls have smiled at me.
Nothing any
So,
further than that?
nope.
I see. And which team are you playing for?
Straight. That's what you're asking.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you got my drift. Okay. So, height and weight.
I'm 6'2", and I don't know my weight. I'm like around 190-ish last time I weighed myself, but that was like a year ago.
All
So I
right.
don't know.
And
Either way.
what drove you to start posting on RNK and all that? What's your story?
Well, I just found the place, and it seemed to be filled with a bunch of depressed losers like me. So I thought, well, hey, I fit in here, don't I?
And how did you find the place? Where did you hear about it?
Uh, well, I found it when I was exploring 4chan a bit, and I found 4chan by actually I bought a used PSP from a play and trade, and I was looking through the history because I was interested. This was like 2010, 2011 maybe,
Uh-huh.
and I was looking through the internet history and I found a whole lot of fucking My Little Pony porn and a whole lot of 4chan. So that's how I found 4chan.
Ah, that's quite a story. Wow.
Yeah.
And so you found it way back then, and how recently did you get into the actual robot board from that point? How long did it take you to
Uh,
get to there?
well, I wasn't really much of an active poster. until like 13, 14ish,
Okay.
and I found R9K around 14, 15. So to that board specifically, I'm pretty new. But I mean, in general, I'm a new fag, pretty much.
All right. Moving on to the next part. What's one thing you want to say to normies?
um, I don't know, like go away
Nothing
in
specific you want
general.
to say to them besides that, or?
Yeah, I mean, they're just fucking, they're like fake, you know.
I mean, is there
It's just
anything that they say or judge on that you think you could clear up for them, or?
nothing that hasn't been said a million times before.
And what are those things that have been said a million times?
Hmm?
What are those things that have been said a million times?
Oh, they're never really like into anything other than like the social aspect of things, stuff like that, and they ruin a bunch of shit that way. Like that picture, the degradation of hobbies. That's probably what pisses me off the most about them.
The degradation of hobbies picture?
The It was posted in the Discord a while back, but it like describes the way like people are into a hobby and then like normies, so to speak, show up and they bring in new people that don't actually care about the hobby and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you think that's
And
a
it just
good,
ends up,
descriptor of how they are and how they act?
yeah, yeah, that's the worst thing. I think that's what happened to
All right.
R9K, especially all of 4chan.
So you think just too
Thanks,
many
Paul.
people became aware of it and it sort of lost its magic at that point?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What about the next couple of years? Where do you see the next couple of years going for you?
Well, uh, I don't really see it getting any better or any worse, really. Probably just going to be the same thing.
Think you're gonna stay about where you're at? Do you have any plans or goals or things you want to get done in the next couple of years?
Well, it'd be great to move out, but I do not get paid enough. So I'll
So
have to
currently
find
where
a
you're
new
at,
job
that's
or
not a
something.
realistic thing.
Yeah, because a lot of the time, like my family is extremely poor, so a lot of the time uh, I just let my dad like not pay me so he can like pay for bills and shit.
Oh, all right, I got you because you're working through the family. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
other
mean,
than just
even
getting
then,
out of
I
there,
get paid less than minimum wage here. I get paid like $5 an hour,
okay.
but I mean, that's quite a bit if you don't have to pay taxes or rent or any shit. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, that's true. But so other than getting out of there, you don't really have anything else you want to try and get done in the next couple of years?
Well, nothing, nothing realistic, I guess. I mean, I'd like a car eventually, but shit's expensive.
Fair enough. Um, what are your thoughts on New Balance tennis shoes? Do you want to pay yourself?
Um, well, no.
Have you ever?
Uh, I may have when I was a little kid, but I knew that in the kind of schools I went to, if I wore New Balance, I'd probably get my shit kicked.
And what kind of schools are those?
Filled with niggers. Wait, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, they're pretty filled with niggers.
Hmm.
That's just how it is.
So just being around those kind of people, it was not a good environment to wear that kind of stuff. You think you get treated pretty badly in that environment?
Huh?
You think you get treated pretty bad in that environment if you were to wear those?
Yeah. I mean, I already got roasted pretty bad for I was. I was a quiet kid, obviously. Fucking loser. Didn't have many friends. Also, I'm ginger, so they like to pick on that a lot. As well as many things. I was poor, so I had shitty clothes and shit.
Hmm.
So they'd always, yeah,
All
it
right.
wasn't fun.
I
I've
I can only
gotten
imagine.
a few fights.
Oh wow. How
Yeah.
did those turn out? How did that start? Tell me about a couple of those.
Well, I mean, I've not, most of them were nothing more than just like pushing people away and all that, and that's how it ends. But
Nothing major.
one time I was in the lunchroom and this kid was spitting shit at me, and I was
Hmm.
just tired of his shit every fucking day. So I just sucker punched him in the face and broke his nose. But of course I got in trouble for that.
Right, right. Okay. Um, moving on to the next part. What are your thoughts on VR? Do you think that's really going to take off and become a next big thing, or do you think that's going to kind of go nowhere from this
Um,
point?
well, that's
Do you see
I'm
that
not really an
becoming
expert
like a
on that kind
major
of thing,
part
but
of people's lives, or
at the moment it just seems like a bit of a meme, kind of a flavor of the month thing. But it has lasted a bit longer than I expected, so maybe it'll take off later. But for now, it's not much of a deal.
but do you have any sort of thought as to whether you do you think it's likely it's going to take off, or something that we
Uh,
might see out of it in the future, perhaps?
I don't think it's really useful for work or anything like that. It's only useful for like entertainment and stuff. And for it to be viable for that, like good entertainment has to be made on it. And there's only like one or two good things that I've seen that are good on VR. So
Hmm.
maybe, maybe not.
All right. What are your thoughts on guns and gun ownership in general? What do you think about that? What do you have to say about that?
Well, shall not be infringed. I got a few myself. Uh,
Which ones do you have yourself?
well, me personally, I have just a small 38 special revolver, snub nose. It's nothing special, but I love it. It feels very good to hold. It's like having a second dick, as they say in Superbad. Uh, my family has a few, but I don't really want to get into it in case I get robbed. Also, it's probably not the best thing to say on the internet.
Hmm. Oh well. Do you go and practice with it? Are you pretty proficient with it, or I mean,
Yeah,
as
I
far
mean,
as keeping accurate and up on reaction and all that, do you do that?
well, my reaction time is shitty as fuck, but I'm pretty accurate. Shooting is about the one thing I'm good at.
And so you think that's the as far as the way that guns are handled in the States, you think it's going well and shouldn't change anything, or do you have any ideas on what we should might
Um,
change or think about?
I mean, not really.
All right. Well, if it sounds good to you, then that's the way we should keep it. Um, so as far as romance, you said nothing has ever come out of that. Have you, since you're just straight, have you talked to any girls extended any period of time like that, or has that gone
Uh,
anywhere?
no,
Nothing at
never.
all? Not even close. Okay.
Uh, in middle school, one girl gave me her phone number as like a friend type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I texted her once and she never responded. And that was it.
Hmm. What do you think is the biggest waste of money on the market today? What's a big waste of money?
Hmm. Uh, probably, fuck man, there's so many.
Well, just one. What comes to mind right away when you think big waste of money?
Just general entertainment, really. But I mean, I guess it's not really that big a
Well,
waste.
it depends on what value you get out of that when you spend it. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
for you personally, what do you think is like, oh, I would never do that. That's a huge waste of money.
Excuse me. Probably. I mean, I guess uh, drugs. I mean, I've done a few, but I was never that much into them.
What were your experiences with those like?
Uh, Pretty lame. I've had a bit of weed, a bit of K2 or spice or whatever it's called, and a few like I've had some Xanax and like Adderall once, and I wish I had my money back, to be honest.
None of those gave you an adequate experience for the money you ended up putting in there?
I mean, it was all right, but I would rather have spent my money on like food, something.
Right, something more practical. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what thing from the 90s do you think needs to come back and maybe be remastered or reinvented for a modern era? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Um.
Or maybe not even the 90s. Let's just go more general. Something in the past, at least more than 10 years, you think what might need to come back and be rethrown out into the world there?
uh. Fuck, man. I don't know. I think radio stations nowadays are pretty fucking awful, and they were probably much better back then because people actually listened to them.
So what do
So
you think is awful about current radio stations? What do you not like about them?
just the fucking the people who host them, they're just fucking lame as shit or annoying and insufferable as fuck.
So the radio
Uh,
hosts themselves have kind of been
yeah,
responsible
and
for that decline.
yeah, and even most stations that don't play fucking like nigger rap and shit,
Mm-hmm.
uh, they are like they play four songs and then it's like 2 hours of commercials because no one fucking listens anymore.
Hmm. So too many commercials, not enough variety in the songs, and just the host itself not being very appealing in general.
Yeah, and I listen to radio a lot because I do a lot of driving. A lot of the work I do is uh, in Clearwater, which is pretty far away. It's like an hour and a half drive. So I spend a lot of time driving and listening to radio, and
Hmm.
it sucks.
And in general, what radio are you listening to?
Well, there's uh, there's nothing really good on the radio. I mean, the only thing I'd listen to is probably the classic rock station, like the dad rock shit. Because like the only other thing is pop that I've heard a million times, and the pop rap, and that's it. Those are the only stations.
And neither
Which
of those
is
are any good for you.
yeah, and I'm fucking sick of the classic rock as well. So I might invest in an aux cord soon.
That sounds like a worthwhile investment to me. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
so fast food. What is your opinion on fast food? Do you get fast food pretty often, or?
I don't get fast food pretty often because it's kind of expensive to eat out. It's much cheaper to just make shit yourself. But I do enjoy fast food.
All right. So on the rare occasion that you are going out for it, where would you go?
Probably probably Taco Bell or Burger King. I used to like McDonald's, but they changed the recipe for their fries and their nugs, and now it's not as good. Checkers has the best fries. I fuck with their fries. Checkers is the best for sure. Uh, but Burger King has the cheapest nugs, and they're pretty good, so I like that. And Taco Bell, I fuck with the chalupa and the Baja Blast. That's good shit.
All right, that makes sense to me. It sounds like a good deal. Um, what are some of the most overused reaction images you think, in your opinion? What are the ones that you see pop up a lot and you think that's kind of overused and you see it a lot? Is there anything you can think of?
Uh, hmm.
Or perhaps not even overused, just something that bothers you when you see it.
Nothing much, really. I mean, I'm not really easily bothered by that kind of shit.
Is there anything that does bother you when someone posts it?
Well, when people post like the shit, the normie fucking advice you've heard a million times, it's just not applicable. Like, just be yourself, man. Just stop being so fake. Like,
And so
fuck
do you
off.
still see that come up quite
Oh,
frequently?
all the fucking time, all the time.
And
That's
so
fucking
what
annoying.
is your response to that? Because that does get posted a lot. What is your response to that?
Uh, I just, I just ignore it.
Just ignore it? You have nothing to say back to those people?
If you pick at it, they're just gonna say more fucking bullshit, and they're not gonna learn anything on the internet. 99% of the time, if two people are talking, nothing is going to be learned. Especially like as soon as the first insult is thrown, everyone immediately locks down. No one there's it's a pointless discussion.
I can
That's what
completely understand that. That
that's what
does happen.
bothers me the most.
What do you think is the most robotic state?
Robotic state, like in the U.S.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I haven't been to all of them. I've been to a few, but none of them seem particularly robotic. Countries, however,
Okay,
I
countries then. Give me a country.
met a few people from Macedonia, and they were incredibly depressed. And Macedonia sounds like literal hell on earth. And so it sounds like the most robotic place to live because you're surrounded on all sides by retards and Albanians. So it sounds pretty fucking awful in my opinion.
So Macedonia is not a good place for people to be living. What
No,
states have you been to?
I've been kind of up the lower East Coast a bit and up to Michigan.
Just for general vacations or
Yeah, we used to be on vacation a bit when I mean we used to have a little more money, but ever since I got out of elementary school, we've been pretty strapped for cash, so we haven't been on vacations much.
do you have any siblings or anything like that or
I have an older sister who just moved out. She's 21.
and are you glad she's gone or do you kind of wish she was still there?
Um, I'm kind of glad she's gone because uh, I wash the dishes every single day. Uh, my parents make me do pretty much everything, and she makes like 90% of the dishes that I have to wash because she's kind of a fat pig. But she bought me alcohol a lot, so it's kind of a trade off there.
I see, so it's that sort of arrangement.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. I've kind of been bringing up the topics and questions so far. Is there anything that you'd like to say or talk about or
Shit, man. I'm pretty much the most boring person you could have on this podcast, so I don't really have much to say.
there's got to be something you're sort of interested in, right?
um,
Or a
yeah, kind of
story, anything you've got.
story. Fuck, man. Uh, well, I'm kind of a big guy, you know, like 6'2", and I kind of look like Shrek, like the human form of Shrek. In fact, I think a girl's told me that before.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't know me personally and know that I'm a massive fucking pussy, uh, people are can be scared of me.
Right.
That's why a lot of the time that's why kids picked on me at school because they thought, hey, I'm gonna look real tough by picking on this tough looking kid. And So one time I was in the movie theater and I was thinking about how like kids would like be kind of scared of me at school, and I like one time I just took a pencil from someone and just started using it, and they didn't say anything. So there was this fucking soy boy sitting next to me. Had like that uh, standard new male beard. He was skinny as all hell and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the movie theater with my sister watching that new Star Wars movie. It was awful, by the way. And I just kind of reached over, grabbed some popcorn, and put it in my mouth. And he turned to look at me. I just looked him in the eye, and he just looked right back at the movie. Thought, shit, I got away with that.
So has that been the only time that you've sort of tried to use your intimidation tactics on people to do what you
Yeah,
want,
pretty
or
much. Yeah, I'm pretty fucking lame.
no? But that's still something that's a success, right? You did it
Yeah.
and it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to the movies very often with your family, or
What?
do you go to the movies very often with your family, or
No, no, that shit's incredibly expensive. But it was a new Star Wars movie, and my sister's a she likes that kind of shit. Uh,
so
so
she's pretty
yeah,
big into that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, she's always been. My family has always kind of been into the whole sci-fi thing. We watched all the original Star Trek stuff
Mm-hmm.
when we were kids and all that, and Lost in Space as well, and all the Star Wars stuff. So we've always been kind of into it. And so my sister thought she'd go see it with me,
Hmm.
and it was bad.
What made it bad?
It was just a mess. It felt like three movies were put into one, and it was way too long. But at least it wasn't boring, so I'll give it that.
So it was interesting, but it just did not come together very well.
No, I mean I'm no movie expert, so I couldn't tell you exactly why it sucked, but it was just half the movie felt unnecessary. The characters felt stupid.
Hmm. Well, is there anything else that sort of has happened with you that's sort of note, or just pretty
Uh,
uninteresting in general?
well, one time in high school, a girl gave me a Skittle. So,
Just randomly,
you know,
or
well, I mean, we talked occasionally, and by that I mean we talked maybe four times the whole year. That's about it.
that ended with a Skittle?
Yeah, I got a Skittle, and it was probably on the ground as well because I don't know where she got it. But whatever.
So pretty big high
Yeah,
school, or small, or
we basically had sex, basically.
that's a fair comparison. Pretty big
Hmm.
high school, or not really?
Huh?
Pretty big high school, or not really?
Pretty what?
Big high school, like a lot of people there, or
Sorry, you're cutting out a hell of a lot. What do you
are
say?
there was it a big high school? Like were there a lot of
Oh,
people
oh
there,
yeah.
or
Fuck, man. It was overcrowded as shit. Uh, there was like 3,500 people there, and the capacity was like 2,000, 1,500 maybe.
so a lot of
There
crowding in the
was,
hallways?
yeah, yeah, there was like 25 to 30 kids in every classroom. And the lunchroom was always fucking packed, and there was always a food fight in one corner and an actual fight in the other corner.
Hmm.
And there
Any of those
were like
kids?
any of those kids. Well, not really anything interesting, but uh, the bathrooms got set on fire a lot. The I mean, a lot of shit happened in the bathrooms. The mirrors were broken a lot. Uh, just stuff like that. Trash cans were thrown. Just happens.
Huh. Well, I bet you're glad to be gone out of there.
Damn
Um,
right I am. Holy fuck. That shit was hell.
I bet. So, wrapping it up, is there anything that you want to say to fellow anonymous users and posters on the boards? Whether it be Arna and K the board or just 4chan in general, is there anything you want to say?
Uh, Not really anymore. I mean, it's pretty much Reddit.
And when did that change start occurring, you think?
Well, it started occurring. Uh, it was kind of different times for different boards. I'd say R9K around 2015 ish. B, it was very early on, obviously. I'm sure some of the boards are pretty good, but most of them are pretty shit. Soch and Pole, all that shit.
So I mean, they've just kind of downhill. There's no turning back from here. There's no fixing them, or
Yeah, probably not. They're probably just going to become a part of the internet, vague internet culture conglomerate of YouTube and Reddit and all that shit.
and which ones do you browse yourself? Which ones do you frequent?
Um, well, R9K obviously, although I don't go on as much as I used to. Uh, K, O, VG. That's about it, pretty much. I don't go on 4chan as much as I used to.
What are your experiences with meeting people from the boards? Have you had any good experiences there, or
Well, most of the people I've met have been absolute fucking retards and pretty fucking annoying. But I've met some really good friends there. Some
like some
people that,
lifelong friends, or
yeah, hopefully.
well, how long has that been going on thus far?
I've known a few people for about 2 years now.
All right, well, that sounds good to me. You heard it from House Salon here first. That's Hal. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry for being the most boring guest.
Oh, no worries. You weren't by far. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode.